Brew Strong is brought to you by Blickman Engineering, home of the top-tier brewing stand. Visit them online at blickmanengineering.com.
Brewers, it's time for the beer radio you've been looking for. This is the show that dispels myths, tackles the toughest topics, and makes no apologies for geeking out on beer. Hosted by two guys that drink before they think, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. This is Brew Strong.
Hey, howdy, hey, my brewing brothers and sisters.
Greetings, cretins.
Leave that thing alone.
One more time.
Oh, leave that thing alone.
Leave that thing alone.
I know yours came from your kids, and I'm constantly yelling, "Leave that thing alone." So
Take your finger out of your nose.
Sorry, I'm not used to our guests having
Microphones?
Well,
Let's
having
say,
that, yeah, but
having guests.
yeah, anything
Something
to say
to
in the
say.
beginning of the show. Sorry,
Yeah, well,
we can try it again.
he's not a guest. He's our third man on the Brew Strong Going
Our
Pro.
third wheel.
Going through.
Oh man, just drive it home.
Yeah, what you don't know about my friend John Palmer. Well, so I'll start off right with that. My friend John Palmer can be quite cruel at times. What you don't know about my friend John Palmer.
No
See,
example?
all the others are funny, and because they're not true, but this one is funny because it is true.
Right. It's a little painful.
No example?
What you don't know about John Palmer is that no one takes him seriously. Right? Right?
Now
Yeah.
he's
What'd you
doing
say?
his own. That's getting a little weird there. It's
Yeah.
getting a little
Okay.
weird.
Well,
You're referring to yourself in the third person. John doesn't like it when you say that.
You're not John Palmer.
John Palmer gets angry.
John
You won't
Palmer
like
gets
him
angry when
he's
he's
angry.
he pulls out sock puppets.
John Palmer likes his sock puppets. What you don't know about my friend John Palmer? He likes his sock puppets. Ah, yes. All right.
So
the
today
show's
we're going
already-
to talk about knitting cozies for, packages or...
I've been drinking too much. I've been drinking high-octane beer during the first show and a show plus 4 minutes.
Well, I don't know. I don't think Silver Bullet's all that high, but
Yeah. Well,
maybe, what do I know?
I slipped in a few Mickeys.
It's cold filtered.
Yes, and that got me. Absolutely got me. All right, so
So
we
what are we going
are-
to talk about today?
we were talking about the Going Pro show. So we're doing these series of shows on, if you're interested in becoming a pro brewer and you want to get some tips and just some discussion. I know, it's something on a lot of folks' minds, and being able to kind of get information from people who have been doing it and have done that can be quite helpful. So that's why I've asked my friend Steve in here. He's owner, brewmaster, janitor of Kinetic Brewing in Lancaster, and then I've got Heretic Brewing Company in Pittsburgh, California. And John is just a troublemaker.
I'm the real third wheel here in this series, but
troublemaker.
yeah, I provide color. That's what it is.
Color, yeah. You're looking kind of pale last time, so I'm not sure how much color you're offering.
I envy you guys. I mean, this is something I've always secretly wanted to do, but never had the gumption to go do it.
Cojones.
Testicular fortitude.
Yes,
Mhm.
it does take some.
Takes long
testicles to,
hours, low
yeah.
pay.
Not-
you gotta be ready for this.
Not that all our sisters out there can't do it.
That's right.
Certainly they could.
You don't want to give up that metallurgist cash.
That is true.
He doesn't want to piss off his wife. Is essentially what it boils down to.
Yes.
Got to quit your job first, and then say, "Honey, what should I do?" got an opportunity to open a brewery. She's like, well, yeah, go open the brewery. Stop laying around on the couch.
There we go.
That was my solution right there. All right, so today what we wanted to talk about is kind of a question that both Steve and I had when we started out. It's like, well, what do I do first? All right, so I'm going to do it. I think there's a place where I can do it, or I've got some sort of a deal that seems like it could work, or I've got some people that are interested in backing me, whatever it might be, or, I think I got a space I could do the nano. I think I got, my tax return is going to pay for the equipment, that kind of thing. Where do you start first? Steve, what would be the first thing that you would do, or what was the first thing you did? Now, you got your deal first thing.
The first thing I did, was
or you found a location.
Actually, no, because the location we were going to start in turned out
changed.
So
right, that was the first thing you did, right? Kind of.
The first thing I did was trying to secure a location. Was the very first thing I did. Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then once that happened, the road we went down, we formed our articles of incorporation,
mm-hmm.
and then we started working on an operating agreement.
Mm-hmm.
Which, when you're an LLC, you'll need to have an operating agreement. And ours turned out to be really large, especially because one of my members is
large member.
The large member is in as an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So there's an individual, and an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So our operating agreement is 25 pages, and then
what's the purpose of an operating agreement?
Agree how you operate.
To define for all the people that read it, because there's going to be a lot of people that read that operating agreement. It defines how the business is run, and who gets what, and when, and where, and how. And
the audience is what, the BATF or the city, or
the Tax and Trade Bureau, the Alcohol Beverage Control in the state of California, the Board of Equalization, your landlord, the
potentially
Bureau,
even the IRS.
The IRS. I know that our operating agreement is 60 pages, and I've had to print that thing 7 times for various people that say that they need to see our operating agreement.
You will kill a couple of trees.
You will kill a couple of trees doing this.
Opening a brewery, yeah.
So every person that opens a brewery is going to need an operating agreement, or only if they're
LLC.
an LLC?
LLC, yeah.
It's a function of the LLC. So for Heretic, the first thing I did was I came across this opportunity, and the first thing I did was kind of discuss the parameters of, the general parameters of how we would make this thing happen. Fiscally, what the responsibilities were, what we would have, access to, all that. We kind of mapped it out just in general, verbally. And, once that seemed to be a go, I went ahead and formed a C Corp for Heretic. And you form a C Corp, then that's an entity all on its own, and it just hires people and pays them or does whatever. And it's
as opposed to a Type S or
as I say, your options in these are S Corp, C Corp, LLC, individual, corporation.
Right.
They're all shelters that you're just trying to protect your butt from getting.
The thing about LLC, I mean, you can start. It's easier to start as an LLC. It's easier tax wise as an LLC to start. But if you plan on growing past a certain revenue, you're eventually going to need to switch to a C Corp. So it can be a little easier and save you some in the beginning, but you have to go through that conversion process later on to C Corp. Otherwise, you're just going to get boned.
But when it's cheaper in the front and you pay for it in the back end, and the other is cheaper in the front end, you pay for cheaper
more
in
the front.
More in the front, you pay, and it's less in the back.
Yeah.
So it depends if you like it in the front or in the back, I guess. That's what it really comes down to.
Well, and for me, it's like, well, we're going to be rich and famous and selling lots of beer real quick, so why screw around? I just, I avoid the conversion thing, and You can convert from one to the other, LLC to C Corp, and I think you can convert to S Corp. It's like a sole proprietor corporation,
right.
And it's really all tax stuff. You need to talk to your tax professional about that, and it's harder to go back the other way from C Corp back, but that's possible as well. But for me, it was just start out and just be done with it.
Right. But first and foremost, protect your ass, and secondly, somebody's going to get the people that want their money are going to get their money.
Right.
So
yeah, you owe me, bitch.
Yeah. I think we pay up front. We pay $800 a month because $800 a year to have our LLC.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're
there's
zero
a minimum corporate tax.
Right. If your revenue is 0 to 500,000, you have one tax bracket, then 500,000 to $1 million is another tax bracket, then $1 million to $1.5 million is another tax bracket, and we're talking gross dollars, not net.
Right. Well, it depends on
because that 1.2 gross is
the way you set it up. Either all the revenue passes through to the individuals, like in an LLC, or the component parts. All the revenue just goes straight through to you, and you claim it on like your personal taxes after whatever your expenses are. With a C Corp, the C Corp can hold on to it, does whatever, and the only personal taxes you're paying is what cash you take out or your salary. And the Corp gets taxed on profits, so you have to be very careful about how your profits go. So you need a good financial person to help you with this, and a good attorney.
Right. Yeah, definitely consult your tax professional to figure out where you need to be and what you want to do.
So probably the first thing was we both saw an opportunity, kind of confirmed that the opportunity was real, that this was something, because going forward with LLC or C Corp or whatever it might be, you're going to start spending money,
right?
And accountants and attorneys start costing real money pretty quick.
Yep. And
filing fees, especially state of California, that adds up.
And people thought they could listen to a brewing show,
right?
Here they're getting tax advice.
But that's so once you've kind of there's enough there realistically for you to go ahead and pursue it and pay for it, then you go ahead and start paying for it, and you get these professionals lined up to help you make it a reality and set it up right. You don't want to shortchange yourself on legal advice or financial advice. It'll come back to bite you.
Right.
And groups like the IRS, they can put you in jail.
Right. And there are individuals that exist out there that deal just purely with the brewing industry.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't try and shortchange that. And if you don't have the money to do that, then you don't have the money to open a brewery. Really, you don't.
Yes. Yeah, that's
just skip it. No, you don't have the money for a nano at that point. So maybe the first thing to do is build up a nest egg. What would you say it would cost to start a nano? Let's say you have,
including all the licensing,
equipment,
and all
licensing, legal advice, your initial couple of batches of ingredients, maybe
one barrel?
several months of rent. You should really.
I'd almost leave the equipment out of it. I mean, because the equipment cost can be kind of variable.
A few $1,000s probably on equipment.
Well, you're going to
you need fermenters.
I was going to say you're going to need multiple fermenters. So you cannot go into opening a brewery with your
you gotta
one
have temperature control. You
gotta
have right.
Fermenter.
You gotta have even if you're using your own like top tier or something, you're gonna
You'll need at least 4 conicals or something.
Oh, we started on this. I didn't even mention the manufacturer of top tier, the Blickman Engineering, Blickman with 2 N's. BlickmanEngineering.com. Check them out. They are sponsor of the show, and they're paying for all this riveting banter, so you don't have to. So
awesome advice.
Yeah. So go check them out if you're looking for. And they have some nano size stuff too.
I mean, at least minimum of 2 conicals, right, or 2 fermenters.
Right.
Of a comparable size.
Hess Brewing, they're using plastic fermenters. They're making great beer, and they're using plastic, and they get them much cheaper.
It depends on what your business plan tells you how much beer you need to sell.
Right. That's more important.
That's how many conicals you need. Your business plan that you write up will tell you how many barrels you need to sell per year, and then divide that by the number of conicals that you have, the volume that it is.
But I'm saying at least a minimum, right? Because you don't want to wait to turn one batch through a fermenter, whatever it is, a conical or whatever. So
I would think a minimum would be 4.
Minimum of 4? Okay.
I would think.
All right.
if you're doing 3-week turns, so you can brew every week.
Yeah.
And if you're not brewing every week, then you got a problem.
You're not a brewer.
Right.
Well, and that's the thing. A lot of times people will look at it as like, well, I can afford this equipment, and that'll get me started. It's like, well, really you should be looking at how much beer you need to produce, what you can sell it for, what all your hard expenses are, and then see what equipment you need to make that.
Yeah, because if you're not in this to make money, then it's a hobby. And
right.
Keep it a hobby.
Yeah, just be a home brewer.
Yeah, be a home brewer.
If you're not going to make money at it, be a home brewer. It's much easier and a lot more fun. It's fun being a pro brewer, but it's
is it fun though?
So much less stress just being a home brewer.
Has it gotten to a point where the work has outweighed the fun?
I will tell you this: the only reason that this is
versa?
still fun for me is because I get to meet a lot of people, and there's a lot of listeners and stuff that come up and talk to me and keep me happy and sane.
Yeah.
Like a GABF and stuff like that. They come up and they're positive and reinforcing, and if they didn't do that, then it would really blow.
See, they do the opposite for me. They keep me down and come up to me and insult me like they know me, and then it's just like, now it's not fun.
Some guy at we got to aside. All right, let's do this. Let's take a short break. When I come back, I want to tell you about the guy at GABF that thought you were wonderful and actually hated me. So
really,
after this,
your dad's real sweet.
When you hear Blickman Engineering, think innovation, passion, quality, and customer service. Blickman gear is designed by brewers to give you a sense of pride in your equipment. At Blickman, they know what makes brewing a pain and build gear that makes it fun. Like the intuitive beer gun, a completely different approach to filling bottles. The Therminator Wort Chiller, a new take on a plate chiller that's sized for flow, performance, and the high groundwater temps homebrewers face every day. The Brewmometer, a brilliant weldless thermometer design with brewing parameters right on the dial. The Autosparge, ultimate simplicity for preventing an overflow or running your mash tun dry. And much more, like the modular top-tier brewing stand, conical fermenters, and their Boilermaker brew pots. With more cutting-edge equipment coming soon, keep up with the latest from Blickman at blickmanengineering.com and stay on the cutting edge.
Hi, this is Push from the Brewing Network, and I want to tell you about the Brewmaster's Warehouse and how you can get 10% off your next order. I'm a pretty techie guy, but I've never seen an online store like this. It's awesome. Go to brewmasterswarehouse.com and click on Brew Builder. You can whip up a custom recipe so easily even Sven could do it. Seriously, it's slick. You can share your recipe with your own logo and notes to the Brewmaster's database if you want, and the best part, it keeps a running tally of the beer you're building while you're doing it. Then, bam, click Buy Recipe, and your cart is filled and ready to go with helpful suggestions in case you forgot something. This thing is amazing. Brewmaster's Warehouse is run the way a home brewer would do it, with great service, fast turnaround, and $6.99 flat rate shipping. Brewmaster's Warehouse and the Brew Builder blew me away. Check it out today at brewmasterswarehouse.com. I'm serious. And don't forget to put BNARMY in the discount code box for 10% off your order. Check out brewmasterswarehouse.com. Cheers. On Sunday, October 23rd, the last great Northern California beer event of the season will be at Downtown Joe's. The Brewing Network presents A Taste of North Bay Beers. And by a taste, we're talking 10 6-ounce pours. Breweries like Napa Smith, Moylan's, Moonlight, Blue Frog, Russian River, Heretic, Drake's, Lagunitas, Iron Springs, 3rd Street, Ale Industries, Marin Brewing, and more. All day, starting at 12:30 p.m. until 11 o'clock at night, and featuring live music from world-renowned Ralph Woodson and Purple Haze. If that's not enough, the home-brewed chef himself, Sean Paxton, will feed 50 select few a private beer dinner at 7 p.m. that will insert Napa herself into your mouth forever. Tickets for the festival and dinner are available in limited quantity at downtownjoes.eventbrite.com. Order now and don't miss A Taste of North Bay Beers, also streamed live on October 23rd at thebrewingnetwork.com.
A heretic is anyone who does not conform to an established attitude, doctrine, or principle.
If you love craft beer, you're already a heretic.
The very first thing we did when we started looking at the beers that we would brew, we got rid of all those recipes. We started from scratch. We've been pilot brewing the most creative things that we could think of and the most interesting things. We've completely gone away from style.
Heretic Brewing Company is opening this spring in Pittsburgh, California, and you can be a part of it. Visit hereticbrewing.com and facebook.com/hereticbrew. Get the latest updates on the brewery and upcoming beers. Show everyone how you celebrate great beer as a heretic.
It's a fairly powerful word. Being a heretic, that means you're not settling for ordinary beer. You are going with flavorful, creative, bold, interesting beers. A heretic is looking for the best beers out there.
Be a heretic. Don't drink ordinary beer.
Things are getting sticky this month at More Beer. All month long, they are featuring their brand new mead kits, and they're hooking you up with an awesome freebie. Their new kits showcase famous Tupelo honey and orange blossom honey from California orange groves. Mead or Melomel, 8 all-new kits, as well as honey by the pound, are on sale all month long. Tupelo has long been considered the gold standard of honey, prized for its rich, fruity flavor and non-granulating characteristics. More Beer's unblended Tupelo honey has fruit flavors, intense cedarwood, and a spicy incense quality. More Beer orange blossom honey should be used for your very best creations. It comes directly from orchards in the California Central Valley and has the unmistakable floral aroma of orange blossoms. By far, one of the favorite honeys for mead. And don't miss More Beer's free comprehensive mead-making guide from Sunday session guest Shay Comfort. Dive into yeast nutrition and pH for mead that can ferment in weeks instead of months. For free! Dry or sweet, mead or melomel, your best bet for an autumn beverage is at your homebrew superstore, More Beer.
Back to the two guys that know how to turn beer into beer. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're talking kind of the sequence of events behind you opening your own brewery, what things you should consider first, and how you need to move forward. But one story from GABF, some dude comes up to me, he's all drunk, and his wife's like apologizing to me.
That's weird.
Off to the side. Yeah, that's pretty much everybody. And his wife's like, oh, yeah, this is so embarrassing. And he's like, you're the worst person on the Brewing Network. I hate you. He goes, you are worse than JP.
Oh!
He goes, you suck. And he's smiling the whole time. I'm like, hey, all right, that's cool. Whatever. You like who you like. That's fine.
Is that the only one you've ever gotten? If you have to think about it this long, I don't feel sorry for you. Try getting that at least once a week.
Right. Yeah,
seriously.
Somebody else probably didn't like me, but this guy was just like, but he was still friendly. We shook hands. I'm like, hey, all right, thanks for listening, and I'm glad at least you're enjoying the shows on the Brew Network.
Yeah,
you don't need to like me. Who gives
My
a shit
favorite
about me?
part about the Brew Network is between you talking.
Right. Well, and I told you about the guy who's like, yeah, your show's much better when I listen to it in double speed.
That's right.
Thanks.
He's got to think for
He's like, the jokes come much faster. He says the pacing's better. I'm like, okay, but he meant it totally positive. He's a really nice guy too. It's just like, oh well, that's all right. Hey, if anybody, if people are listening, obviously the guy is listening.
Right.
If he hates me so much, he's still listening to the show. It's still a win for the sponsors and everybody.
Right.
Fine by me. I don't care if you like me or not.
Can't be all things to all people.
Yeah, exactly. It still seemed like a nice guy. His wife seemed nice, and more power to him.
Was he a BJCP judge?
I have no idea, but I'll tell you, I also met the guy who's doing the beerjudgeeducation.com, the better beer scores.
Yeah.
They've got a site, and I thought this was pretty cool. It's a bunch of people who they're instructors. They spent their lives developing instructional material, teaching classes, things like that, and they're also all beer geeks. And what they've done is they realize it's difficult for a lot of people to find a BJCP class in their area. So they've done an online course. And these aren't just, here's a bunch of material to read. It's actually live, interactive discussions. There's webinars. They do these weekly segments that are 2.5 hours long where they go in through it. I haven't personally experienced it. I asked them for like a link so I could check it out, but they didn't send it to me, and I'm way too busy anyway, so I didn't get a chance to check it out. I'd like to, because I talked to the guy for quite some time about the details of it. Before I talk about anything like this on the air, I want to make sure that it seems worthwhile to listeners. And I believe from what I heard from this guy, this really seems like a great way to get started, especially if you don't have a BJCP class in your area. Even if you do, if you really want to do well, this seems like a great way to get started.
It seems like something I could have used because, as we discussed in a prior show, I apparently live in the boondocks, and I can actually attest that I am one of 2 BJCP judges in my region.
Are you?
I live in LA County. How many times do I have to say this?
Dismissing the fact that you live out in like the middle of the desert?
It is LA County. It's not that big of a county anyway. But this would have actually been something great for me because I had to study on my own and utilize the resources that I had, like you.
Well,
to say, hey, how do I do this? But other people don't have they can't text you and say, hey, Jamil, how can I do this or whatever. But I was self-taught on my test, and I did okay, but a lot of people don't have that ability, and this is if I would have had this resource, I would have done something like that because I don't have the large homebrew club at my disposal or any other knowledge base that I could have worked with.
Not to diss on the people who are doing courses now, but I've experienced some of those courses, or some of those classes, and their heart's in the right place, and they're working very hard at it. But a lot of them are not skilled trainers, instructors, and these folks are. And personally, that makes a huge difference in communicating information, making sure you retain the information, all that. Yeah. There's a difference. It's a skill, and not everybody has it, and these guys do. I think that's actually quite valuable. So
when I was doing my training class, I left my class 2 classes in, because the teacher was actually saying wrong information.
Right.
And I if this was around, I would have totally jumped on that. But I had to do the rest on my own. It was very hard. It was very hard to know if you're on the right track. And luckily, I know some of the proctors and stuff, so I was able to get some help. But if you don't know that, if you're stuck way the hell out somewhere in, I don't know, the high desert of some weird county, what are you gonna do? The internet probably doesn't even work out there. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah. Oh, you end up by tortoise or something.
Yeah.
And when I did my course, it's same sort of thing. It's like the people they had going through it were just reading material. Their entire ability to teach was based off of reading a sheet of notes that they could have just handed me. And it was extremely boring and slow because they read far slower than I could read.
Right.
And there was no...
Too bad you can't play it on double speed.
Yeah, just hand me the information, and it would have been great. So I think this is
How long's the course?
12 weeks.
Wow, that's very... So 2.5 hours a week, 12 weeks.
Right.
So it's...
and again, it's live,
it's at least 8
interactive.
Hours long.
It's limited to, groups of 24 or less. So you have a chance to interact. They cover everything in there. I think that I'm not saying it's the end all be all, but I would give it a shot. See how well it works. If they do it, if they live up to their potential, this could be the way everybody's trained.
Yeah,
I think it's got a real.
The cool thing about this training program is they will offer a full refund. If let's say you take the course and you don't find
pass.
Real value by the beginning of the 3rd class,
they should say
they'll give a full refund.
They give you a refund if you don't pass. That'd be awesome.
Well, they can't. There's no fixing stupid. You know what I mean?
No, they still should. They still should.
We've all taken that test, and never mind.
Yeah.
If you can't pass, then you really should get your money back because you need it to
if you can't retain it, it's not their problem. They're presenting it but by the start of the third class, you take 2 classes.
Call them up, talk them into offering a money back if you don't pass the BJCP.
Yeah, that's the last thing I need to do in my life. And then
they can give like a 50% back. Come on, 50%. You can agree with me on that.
Well, you know the guy. Also, all sessions.
He's a real nice guy.
All sessions are recorded. So in case you miss one,
right,
you can go back and check out what you.
Or if you need to want to refresh right before the test,
sure,
yeah.
Which you can't do that. Let's say you fall asleep because you're working too hard at your brewery.
Well, and in the classes you do locally, you don't have that opportunity. Again,
no, not at all.
I think if you got a good class locally, I would do that, and I would do this at the same time. I think it's well worth it. Just check it out. It's www.beerjudgeeducation.com, and they're also on Facebook. But give it a try and give us some feedback. If you like it, call up, let us know. If you don't like it, call up, let us know. I think it's got a lot of potential to be something great because again they're professional trainers, so very cool.
Cool.
All righty. And what you don't know? Did I already do what you don't know about? Yeah, I did.
Did.
First
Yeah,
at the
you
very
did.
beginning, I bashed on my friend John Palmer, didn't I? Yeah, good. All right, so we're back to talking about what?
So we went over LLC,
yes,
and the corporations, and then there was the operating agreement.
Uh-huh.
And what comes next after that?
All right, so you have a bunch of stuff to do at that point. And one of the things, Steve, that you brought up in the first episode was that you were doing things you felt, well, we're doing things that are step one. We're doing things that are, at the end.
Step
we're doing
99.
things in the middle. We're doing, things all over the place. There's no real rhythm or, a pattern to, how we're going through it. But I think one of the things that you need to look towards is, make yourself a list of everything you need to do. Mm-hmm. Keep adding to it. Maintain that list. Cross out the things that, you complete, and maybe make a note to them or check them off and put a note next to them as to what the result was. Any follow-up. Keep adding to that list. Keep sorting that list. Put the highest priority things at the top. I do it in Word, and I float things to the top as they become, more important. Things that are less important, I float them to the bottom. I cross out the things that are already completed. And if you do that, I think that's a great help.
Yeah.
But, back to your point that you made in the previous show, it's if you see an opportunity to knock out one of the tasks that, needs to be done anyways, go ahead and do it. Don't let it take away from the critical things that if you have a gating issue, something is stopping you from proceeding on opening your brewery and producing beer and being profitable, that's the thing you need to do first. Right. If you're waiting on somebody else, you're waiting on TTB or state or whatever it might be for approval, you have opportunities to do other things.
Yeah.
So go ahead and pursue those.
Yeah. And so to add what you're saying is that I think the end game is to get your TTB and ABC applications submitted and returned. And there are a multitude of things you have to do to get to that point.
Right.
And so
that's a good point, because you need the equipment in order to get approval. You have to have your equipment. You have to be ready to brew.
But also just paperwork wise, there are things. I mean, aside from the LLC and the operating agreement, you have to have. I mean, just to run down the list quickly, we can go back to it. But you need your EIN. You need
right. So that's your employer identification number. You get that from the feds. When you get your corporation, your business entity, then you can get your federal ID number. You'll probably need a state one as well.
Exactly. Yep. And with the ABC, with your local state government, because I know in California it's the ABC, but I often just throw ABC out there. But it's not actually it's actually different in every state. You'll often hear us say ABC,
right?
But it actually is different states. So your local state, your state authority, you'll need your seller's permit your seller's permit number for that.
The Board of Equalization.
And the Board of Equalization as well.
So there's, like in California, there's multiple groups. So you've got your feds, you get your state ABC. They actually license you to produce and sell beer.
But the Board of Equalization is
and the Board of Equalization controls kind of the taxing of it, and that's another thing. They'll also collect taxes on things like shirt sales, glass sales, hat sales, things like that.
Because we are in the business of apparel,
right?
As brewery owners,
yes. Did you have more on that list?
Well, the short list, the relatively short list of important things that I have is LLC article or articles of incorporation, depending on your choice of direction. And I went LLC, so I know that I need this. The second thing that I needed was the operating agreement. I found the third most important thing that I needed was the EIN, the Internal Revenue Service.
Because you can't file all your other paperwork without that employee identification number.
Right. There'll be paperwork. The further you get into this, you'll encounter paperwork that says, what is this number? What is that number? And you'll need that number or that bit of information.
Right. EIN is how it's like your social security number for your corporation.
Right. Exactly. Seller's permit comes in high. Which in California would be the Board of Equalization. I think that's a standard thing. Every state has a Board of Equalization.
Yeah,
I think.
You can apply for it and get it the same day.
Right. Being that I'm a brew pub, I needed a business license. I guess you probably need a business license as well.
Everybody needs.
Okay, yeah.
You always need a business license in the area that you're, whatever city that you are located in. You go to those city offices and you say, I'm opening a brewery, I need a business license, and sometimes you also need a business permit. You need two separate things so they can charge you twice.
One of the very first things that we did was we got our conditional use permit, which a lot of people say you get further down the line, but I opened in a city that really wants business. They were actually voted the most business-friendly city in LA County. And I hate to bring that back, but they really, really want business, and they're striving for business.
That far away, still in LA County.
That far away, I know, yeah. But they really want business, and so we were able to get our conditional use permit, saying that yes, the city does in fact want a brewery, and they have granted us permission to proceed with the others, because you cannot apply for the ABC or the TTB without that conditional use permit.
Right.
So we got that actually very early on. Typically, from my understanding, in many cities, that would be something you would get further down the line. We did get that early on.
Along those lines, one thing I found very helpful was to go to the TTB website and the ABC website and print out the checklist of everything you need and the packet of everything you need, and print out all the forms and start trying to fill them out early on. And that will tell you a lot of times other things that you need.
Yeah, I did the
like
same
the
thing.
Conditional use permit. In California, there's actually a website that if you tell it what business you are opening and what county you are located in and what city you're located in, it will give you a list of every possible permit and form that you need to fill out. And
really,
it's actually, it's really cool.
I never came across that.
It lists a little bit more probably than I think you really need, but I don't think it admits anything. And that's how I found out you need, like, if you're producing beer, you need for a production brewery, you need a federal, like, anti-terrorism. You need to file that. I need to look it up, but you need to file that you are actually producing some sort of consumable goods, and then if there's some sort of threat against breweries in California,
was this the water table
poisoning?
Thing? That's the water table.
No, it's for like poisoning. It's like some terrorist is trying to somehow compromise your packaged product and it's going to reach all across the nation and kill a bunch of people. They can contact you and make you aware of the issues.
That sounds vaguely familiar, but I thought it had something to do with the water table, because you have to go through Department of Homeland Security, because the TTB, and I know they listen to this show, and I'm going to regret saying this, but I often refer to them as the. You
don't have your license yet.
That's true. I refer to them as the love child of the IRS and the ATF. So, because they've got one foot in the Department of Treasury and one foot in the Department of Homeland Security, so they're people you do not want to play with. And
Oh no, don't screw with them, because they have all the power in the world over you running a brewery.
Yeah.
But I will also say this: I've met most of the people that you will deal with, and they were all fantastic. They're good people. I did not meet a single person in the government works of the city, the county, the state, or the federal government that was other than professional, kind, and helpful. Now, sometimes it takes some time, and if you make a mistake, you may have to resubmit it. But everybody was very kind every step of the way, and really seemed like they wanted to see us open a brewery and brew beer and be profitable as soon as possible. I was really thrilled. I thought that, it was going to be horrible, some horror show, but nope, everybody was quite nice.
Mm-hmm. I've had little interaction, but the interaction I have had has been professional in kind, and I think that as long as you're kind to them, well, yeah. They look for
be nice.
They put the ball in your court, and as long as you're kind to them, they're good with you.
Understand that they're swamped with a huge number of requests, so it's going to take a little time.
And it's actually my understanding that the TTB, the Federal Tax and Trade Bureau, has now gone all electronic. I know that I'm.
That'll probably accelerate things.
Yeah, that should expedite things. I know that my application was paper, and they were beta testing the all digital applications when I submitted, but I didn't get into the window because they were only accepting a very limited number as a beta test, and I didn't get into the window, so I had to do the paper application. So I think I maybe that might be why my process is delayed. I know I'm several months into my application and still waiting for results.
Could have been your attitude on that first show. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't think I said anything offensive to him.
Oh, you always say something offensive.
I do. You're right.
No, again, they're real busy. It took quite a while on mine as well, but you got to have some patience. So, all right. So we talked about those things, those licenses, and that's one of the things I would do is early on print out that packet and work it. Just try and fill out as many forms as you can. And the ones that you filled out perfectly, those go into like a separate folder, say, to submit. The other ones, like, make yourself a folder that says, working, and, flag all the points. Get yourself the little, stick-on flags that say here that I need to figure out what belongs in that field, and, this needs to be done. And you'll have things like, what's the impact on water courses? If you're next to a river, what's the impact on that navigable river? They'll want to know.
Right.
But if you're not anywhere near a navigable body of water, then it's
like Steve.
It's like he's out in the middle of nowhere, out in the desert. Do you guys have water? How do you brew without water?
We use sand.
You sand for your brewing.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Well, you have cacti out there. You just squeeze cacti.
Cactus juice?
Yeah.
Is that how you do it? Or you squeeze the tortai?
What time's my flight?
4 minutes ago.
All right.
Right. There's only one flight that goes out to that point of the desert.
Oh, God.
Actually, it doesn't even stop. They just open the door.
You jump out.
Yeah.
It's okay because you land in the sand.
Right. Yeah.
I got to come out and visit you. I'm giving you crap.
That's kineticbrewing.com, by the way. Facebook.com/kineticbrewing. Bastards.
There'll be stuff like that. There'll be, you need all your lease stuff in order. You need, you need all these little pieces in order. You need all your corporate paperwork. You need the corporate seal. The thing they give you when you
get a
corporation.
Stamp. You can buy a stamp.
Oh yeah, or buy a stamp, either the embossed seal or a stamp to do all these papers. You need those as well because you need to submit originals. We'll go over the whole paperwork thing for you in a future show. But I would kind of get into that early. Don't freak out about it, but it takes a long time to get that approval, so you really want to make sure you can have it ready the moment that everything else is in place.
I took a picture of my TTP application.
I saw that.
You did see that?
I've seen everything you've posted on Facebook.
You do. You're a lurker, I know. But yeah, I think it was off the top of my head, it was like 16 different stacks,
right?
And I think every stack.
It's a 3-inch wad of paper. 3-4-inch wad of paper when it's done.
Yeah, when it was done. It was about a tree.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, and you've printed it 60 times by then.
Right.
If you do it right. If you're just going to sloppily scribble things and cross things out, then...
Mm-hmm. And then the state, when I did the state, it was like 14... I didn't take a picture of that one, so you couldn't have seen it, but you lurker. But it was 12 to 14 different stacks, but they weren't as thick. It was
it was like a 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, maybe.
Well, the full packet, well, because our operating agreement by itself is a 1/2 inch.
Yeah.
So my packet was bigger than your packet in that sense.
I've heard. All right, let's take a short break, and when we come back, we'll do a little bit more of what you need to do next on your opening a brewery. Back after this.
BN Army, HopTech has a great discount waiting for you. Do you often find it difficult to find specific specialty ingredients for your homebrew recipes? Well, listen to this. HopTech stocks 59 different grains to choose from, 39 varieties of pellet hops, and 8 kinds of whole leaf hops. And HopTech not only carries Y yeast and White Labs yeast for you, but also Fermentus, 04, 5, 6, 23, 33, and T58 Belgian yeast, plus Cooper's, Nottingham, and Windsor yeasts. Got your recipe ready to go? Pick up some great brew gear like new long and short sleeved shirts, games, and more. HopTech's new website is being updated every day with new items. If you don't see it, call the shop. They're open 6 days a week. BN Army and AHA members get a 10% discount, and active military personnel get 15% off. Visit HopTech.com today for great selection, great service, and a great discount. HopTech.com.
Nico, listen, our lawyers said that we had to do this for 1 hour, and after this, we don't have to talk to each other for 3 more months to the next meeting.
Kids, come on, let's get out of here.
I'm supposed to have more lines. I'm the professional. Hey, it's Sully.
And I'm Nico.
And we opened the 21st Amendment 9 years ago at 563 2nd Street in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park, to make great beer and have a great time doing it.
That's right, because to us, the 21st Amendment is more than just the right to make beer. It's the right to experiment, to be innovative, and just do things differently. And so now, we're putting our craft beer in cans.
That's right, cans. You can find our world-famous Hell or High Watermelon Wheat Beer and Brew Free or Die IPA throughout California and Alaska.
And now it's also available on draft at select accounts in the Bay Area.
So next time you're at your local neighborhood pub or good beer store, be sure to ask for 21st Amendment in cans.
Because everyone likes it in the can.
Tasty crack cans.
Tasty crack can.
Honey, what's wrong? Was the Saison oxidized?
Worse. Beer festival season is coming to an end. That's it for craft beer fun for the year.
My God, you're right.
What are we going to do?
Wait, it's a long shot, but yes!
What?
The new Bay Area Craft Beer Festival is coming up October 22nd.
The one at Martinez Waterfront Park?
Yeah, with all that great food.
Live music?
And craft beer! More than 30 of the best breweries west of the Mississippi will be there.
I knew you loved me.
I do, but I may love the Bay Area Craft Beer Festival more.
Hey.
Kidding!
And I was just about to tell you your Saison is oxidized.
What?
Tickets for the Bay Area Craft Beer Festival are available online until October 19th at bayareacraftbeerfestival.com. All tickets are pre-sale only. None will be sold at the door, so get yours online right now. Great beer, fabulous food, and rockin' live music. Round out your beer fest season right this year at the Bay Area Craft Beer Festival.
Williams Brewing is your online resource for prompt delivery of quality home brewing supplies. Since 1979, Williams Brewing has offered the finest equipment and freshest ingredients and the best customer service in the business. Cut hours off your brewing sessions by using one of our 11 varieties of famous Williams malt extract. Our Williams Belgian Pale Extract is mashed with pure Belgian 2-row malt and a small percentage of Belgian wheat malt for an authentic Belgian character you just can't get from other extracts. Or check out our unique fermenters, 2.5-gallon kegs, paintball tank-based draft beer equipment, bottling aids, and much more. We even have our own line of precision hydrometers. Go to williamsbrewing.com to browse our vast selection. That's williamsbrewing.com. Orders placed by 3:30 p.m. Pacific Time ship the same day. Brewing is easy. The Williams way.
Back to your hosts, Jamil Zainasheff and John Palmer. Putting the testicles in technical. This is Brew Strong.
All right, we're back. We're talking about the order of things you need to do and things you need to think about in getting started on opening your own brewery. But let's also think about what you might be doing later on in the bedroom.
I think that's the best segue you've ever done into this.
Why, thank you.
I love it.
Gals, fellas, are you looking to spice things up in the bedroom? Been fantasizing about surprising your love with an adventurous new toy or adult movie? There's an offer you won't be able to resist. Go to adamandeve.com. For limited time only, you'll get 50% off just about any item. That's not all. When you select your one item at 50% off, you also get 3 free adult DVDs that you choose yourself. And for a little inspiration, and you'll get a free extra gift so essential we can't mention on the radio. And to top it all off, we'll even throw in free shipping on your entire order. So check out adamandeve.com today for the special offer. You'll get 50% off one item when you type Jamil, Jamil, for the offer code upon checkout. When you do, you get the 3 free DVDs, a free extra gift, and free shipping. So use the offer code JAMIL at adamandeve.com. They also have a nice new mobile website you can reach at m.adameve.com. So check it out. They sponsor the show. So, if you have needs along those lines, go check it out. It's a good place to shop for those things.
At Brew Strong, we want you to be proud of your equipment.
Wow. It's pretty good. Well, Christmas
that
is
was
coming
pretty
up.
good.
I loved how clear that was. And you can just lift that out and just
right,
use
I know.
that so many ways.
That was a good read there.
Yeah. Help Santa out.
Yes. All right. So what were we talking about?
God only knows.
No, we're talking about
acronyms.
All the government paperwork and stuff. You should really look at that early on. You should be, if you're looking at a specific location in a town or something like that, go talk to the city, talk to the planning department. You want to get that done first, like we were saying. Work out your location, your deal before you form your corporation, all that. You go and say, hey, I'd like to open a brewery here. Here's what I'm thinking of doing. It's going to be, this kind of size. I want to, generate, tax revenue.
You're in a historical location, aren't you? That would have been another. I know that I encountered that paperwork and I blew it off, but you would have actually needed that.
Historical locations will require, additional paperwork, things like that. So you need to, talk to your local government officials first, because they can stop you. Even the feds and even the state. The feds don't necessarily come and check. They used to come and check every brewery. They don't have the ability to do that anymore. The state will come and check. At least in California, they'll come and inspect every location, and the city will as well. So you need to make sure that you're kind of I would talk to those people and say, do you see anything that might be an issue for me, running this kind of business here? If it is, what is it? What should I, be thinking about? Is it an impossibility to fix those problems? Should I look for another location? Et cetera, et cetera. And
how much did you have to look into water and sewage at your locations? I mean, did you have to apply for so many gallons or rate or day or anything like that?
It's going to depend on the individual city and the individual water district and sewage district. You need to talk to those folks as well and say, I want to open a brewery. And they may say, oh, no problem. We got lots of breweries here. What we require is that the pH be neutral or, within this range, and the TDS, total dissolved solids, be, in this range. Other than that, they don't care, or they may have a limit, or they'll say, well, the pricing is, based off of, these volumes. This is what you're going to pay, and you'll use those numbers for your financial analysis that you're going to do.
Right. Those do come into play though when you're in your application, specifically in your TTB application. They do have an actual page or a form that you need to fill out
water quality.
On your water quality and what you're doing with your wastewater. There's two separate forms you need to fill out, one for each, and I know that I took my forms and I went to some brewery friends that I had and I said, hey, what did you do? He's like, oh, I have that on file, and he gave me his, and I modified that to me. I would guess maybe you did the same, Jamil. Yeah. And I actually offer that up to anybody if you want. I still have my forms, and I can, if you're opening a brewery, send something to email info@kineticbrewing.com. I'll send you what I submitted, and then you can modify that to yourself, to your needs. And
it's fairly boilerplate. It's like, no, we won't really have any impact.
Right, because a lot of the questions are railroad, and there are things that just don't apply to us.
Navigable waters, and
they apply to the big guys that are, the truly big guys that are having a true impact. And
right. In most cases, you'll deal with that later on if you're lucky.
Right.
But talk to the city and explain, have an idea, do your research on what it would take for a brewery of your size, how much water you're going to generate, how much wastewater, how much you're going to use, things like that. If you have those kinds of information when you go talk to somebody, they'll ask you those kinds of questions. And if you have that kind of answers for them, they're going to say, this is somebody who knows their stuff. All right, they'll feel comfortable with telling you, it's a go.
Right.
If they feel like you really don't know what you're doing, oh boy, these people could be a real problem. They're going to be dumping all sorts of chemicals down our sewer and messing up our sewage treatment, and then we're going to get fined by the feds, and then they're not going to want to deal with you.
They want to see that you put the knowledge into it beforehand.
Right.
Yeah.
They want to see they're dealing with a professional. So prep yourself for those sorts of things. Same thing on location. Fire. Public, if you're within a number of feet of schools, churches, things like that, residences, that becomes an issue as well, especially brew pubs.
Which I'm within 500 feet of all of those.
Right. So
I have a school, I have
and I saw your
condos.
Facebook post of the giant thing of envelopes, yes.
Yeah. So that,
see, you're
a big lurker.
No, I'm interested in how my friend's doing.
Yeah.
That's
that cost me $120 to mail that.
Right.
Because there are that many residences and businesses within that zone.
You
it
have
was $120 in stamp.
For the state, you have to notify everybody within a certain radius of your location what you're going to be doing. Give them a chance to oppose. And, I think most of the time, most people think, no, it's fine. Not a big deal. Depends on what you're doing. And that's going to vary depending on whether you have a restaurant, or a tasting room or not. For me, packaging brewery, I'm enough distance away from everybody that I didn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
It's
I wished that several times.
Right.
But I was like, geez.
So, that's another thing.
I have schools, I have churches, I've got them all.
And while you're doing all that, you should be thinking about your equipment. You should be thinking about, logos, marketing. It's never too early to start marketing.
No, not at all.
Your brewery. So, the minute that you kind of have, you don't want to announce something before you have something really, truly solid working and going forward. But, I would not, I would hold off on marketing until I had kind of a location locked down, financing and other things, a real solid chance at doing this. I wouldn't hold off on marketing because of TTB or ABC or something like that.
No.
Because those, generally, you can solve the problems that they have with your application. If there's some sort of issue, either you can get somebody to agree that it's okay, or you can change the way you're doing things, or tweak the building layout or something to make them happy so it's doable. So start marketing at that point.
Yeah, I wish our marketing would have gone earlier. Now, being that I have several cooks in the kitchen, we had, designed by committee, where I know you were able to say, I like that, and you ran with that early on, and you're able to start doing your apparel and your coasters and your glassware and whatnot early on. I've been kind of delayed in that. I didn't get that locked in until 2-3 months ago, and I'm just now getting my shirt orders placed and coasters and such, and I know that Eagle Rock, the friends of mine, they use their capital. They actually had sold when they were still building the place. They were using mug clubs and other revenue generating sources that need logos to finance the brewery. So the sooner you can get a logo, the sooner you can do a multitude of things. You can sell shirts, you can sell coasters, you can do mug clubs with etched glasses or whatever, and use that as a profit center to generate revenue to do whatever it is you need to do.
Well, and that's I think a critical aspect of it. You can and you can start marketing without a logo. Get the buzz going. But having all that nailed down, that's huge. It really helps. The more you can build your brand, the quicker you are gonna be to sell your beer. Let's do this. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll answer any of your questions, and then we'll roll into show number 3 right after this.
When Blickman Engineering set out to design a great brewing stand, they knew it had to be strong, adaptable, and last for a lifetime. The top-tier brewing stand is now proudly available at BlickmanEngineering.com. It grows with your brewing skills and equipment. Start with 5-gallon coolers on its heavy-gauge stainless steel shelves. Then move all the way up to 30-gallon pots on the high-output burner tiers. Speaking of burners, the custom Blickman Engineering top-tier burners are extremely powerful, efficient, and amazingly quiet. They have safety stops to center your pot, and they'll last a lifetime and won't rust. The top-tier brewing stand allows virtually infinite combinations from traditional gravity systems to 2 tiers to completely horizontal. Configure your stand the way you want and have the freedom to change it at any time in the future. Your brewing stand should adapt with you, not force you to learn a new process. Visit BlickmanEngineering.com today to configure your top-tier brewing stand and to find a local Blickman retailer. You'll be surprised with all the flexible features and the competitive price. Start brewing with Blickman from the top tier.
In a world where everything has been lost.
What happened to the city? It's in ruins.
Only one man has the ancient knowledge to restore civilization.
I need a drink. Oh no, the liquor store's been ransacked.
You looking for beer, stranger? Boy, all the liquor got drunk up in the first 25 minutes of the apocalypse.
Wait, there's still some bottles over... Oh, no. Those are non-alcoholic beer.
I reckon you better stick to arrowroot tea and a desperate nomadic existence like the rest of us.
People, I'm a home brewer. I know how to make alcohol.
It can't be done.
Come with me if you want the beer. Okay, I'm gonna need some big plastic buckets.
He is the chosen one. The prophecies say that he's gonna get us wasted.
Someone start heating water. And
From the creators of Northern Brewer, the people who brought you $7.99 Brew Saver shipping, massive selection, and superior customer service comes the Homebrewer.
When I order a beer, I want my server to know more about it than I do. I want someone who enjoys good beer and loves helping others enjoy it too. I want someone who knows how to pour a perfect pint for any beer style. I want a Cicerone. The Cicerone certification program is creating the type of people who help you enjoy great beer. Home brewers and craft beer lovers know beer is more flavorful and complex than ever, and it takes some serious knowledge to store and serve beer right. Cicerones know beer. There are 3 levels in the Cicerone program: Certified Beer Server, Certified Cicerone, and Master Cicerone. Cicerones are truly the sommeliers of beer. The best beer locations have a certified Cicerone on staff. Relaxed and unpretentious, Cicerones are tested on storing and serving beer, beer styles, flavor and tasting, the brewing process and ingredients, and pairing food with beer. Learn more about your next beer guide at cicerone.org. Certified Cicerone, because it takes top talent to present a perfect pint.
Hi, I'm Jamil Zainasheff, and in addition to my work on the Brewing Network, I write the Style Profile column in every issue of Brew Your Own magazine.
Hi, I'm Sean Paxton, and when I'm not prepping for the Homebrewed Chef on the Brewing Network, you can find me writing articles on how to cook with your home brew for Brew Your Own magazine.
Greetings, cretins. This is John Palmer, and when I'm not writing for Brew Your Own, I'm reading it.
John Palmer, Sean Paxton, Jamil Zainasheff. If you love listening to them on the Brewing Network, you'll love reading their articles, tips, and recipes in the pages of Brew Your Own magazine. Join Jamil, John, and Sean 8 times a year in Brew Your Own. And when you subscribe to BYO on the Brewing Network website, half of your subscription price goes right back to the BN to support great beer and food programming. So sign up for Brew Your Own magazine through the BN website today so you can listen and read your way to better homebrew.
Hey, what are you doing, man?
Writing a review of WLP 400.
What? You're reviewing yeast?
Yeah. White Labs has home brewer reviews of all their strains. Are you new to these interwebs? Check it out.
That's awesome.
White Labs, your source for great yeast, invites all brewers to visit whitelabs.com to read and write your own reviews of all their yeast strains. Get real-world tips and tricks from other brewers who have made the most of their vials and post your own experiences. It's another way White Labs brings you closer to the best yeast on the planet.
And send. There you go.
You misspelled flocculate, dude.
What? Mother...
White Labs. It's all in the vial. What does craft beer mean to you? Is it a delicious way to support your town's local brewer? Or perhaps it's the perfect beverage to pair with those delicious devils on horseback? Regardless of whether you're thinking of pints or pairings, pilsners or porters, craftbeer.com is the site where craft beer lovers come together to learn and share. Craftbeer.com is brought to you by the Brewers Association and celebrates the best of American craft beer and its brewers. Craftbeer.com is the best place to find craft beer events, recipes, great feature stories, the most up-to-date brewery listings, and resources for your next beer tasting or dinner, like style guidelines, pairing mats, and charts. Get the inside scoop on new beer releases and special events from today's craft beer insiders, and chime in to share your own knowledge, perfect pairings, road trips, recipes, and more. Craftbeer.com, celebrating the best of American beer.
Back to the beer guys that make other beer guys look like wine guys. Brew Strong.
All right, so I think that's a good kind of run up to at least getting started. If you're looking for good attorneys or finance people, there's plenty of good ones. If you can find an attorney that deals with craft beer, I would go with an attorney that deals with craft beer, because there's
like a California craft beer attorney.
Yes, like Candace Moon. That's the attorney we use, and she's fantastic. And the reason she's fantastic is she understands beer and kind of the community. Mm-hmm. There's a kind of a different take on it. If you're looking at dealing with folks, your certain attorneys will be much more aggressive and, deal with it as you would in the corporate world, where you don't have to worry about, Facebook, spawning some horrible news about how you did this or that or whatever. But in the beer world, in the craft beer world, if you're, not behaving like a good part of the community, that'll get repeated. So you want an attorney that really kind of understands that you're part of the craft beer community and your important, place in that, and respects that and sees kind of a different way to work with people. So I think that's an important thing. At least for me, it has been, and she's been fantastic. So I would look for that sort of representation. I don't know. Would you agree, Steve, or do you
Absolutely.
think just about anybody?
For matters of like forming an operating agreement or LLC,
anything like that,
you can go there and dime.
You do
get
that
a good
on,
lawyer. But
do that on the internet or whatever.
Important matters of a brewery, then
Right.
you want good representation.
Legal agreements between the brewery and other entities, or trademark stuff. You want to find somebody that is going to represent you the right way, not just represent you. So,
yes.
Real important. All right, so that's it for this show. We'll wrap this up, and if you're listening live, stay tuned. We'll continue our discussion of things you need to do to get your brewery moving forward, all the little things, and our tips and tricks for making that happen.
Exactly.
Hey, it's a beer show. It's accepted.
I thought this was a tax show.
It's a tax and trade show from Homebrew and Dog Meat. All right, so if you get a chance, check out our sponsors, especially BlickmanEngineering.com. Blickman with 2 N's. He's paying for the show so you don't have to. He's making great equipment for the home brewer and the Nano Pro brewer, I hear. So check that out.
And want you to be proud of your equipment.
sounded just like the first time.
I know.
Oh,
It's just
man.
like
It's like John Palmer on a button.
right. It's just like a soundboard. Yeah.
I
All
want you
right.
to be proud of your equipment.
I
you
think
proud?
I think I'm going to make that my new ringtone when you call me. I want you to be proud of your equipment. No, I don't think I'll answer that.
I think Adam and Eve should take that and use it in some of their materials, like a training exercise.
All right. So if you get a chance, check out the rest of our goodies on thebrewingnetwork.com. Lots of other shows that are fun to listen to, and lots of other goodies you can buy in the store that help go to support the Brewing Network. Until then, brew strong.
Brew strong, everybody.